Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian, the 3 Topics Gamer here to bring you another episode of People's Questions, where I answer a number of questions that have been sent to me over the past week. This time we got a good number of questions that I both answered in the comment section for the previous video, as well as having about 3 questions for this particular episode that I think were actually pretty decent to, borderline really good. So remember, if you sent in a question and you already didn't get a notification saying that I commented on your question before and you don't hear it now, well, you know where to look. So I'm going to go simple with the first question coming from Alexia Smith. And you want to know, why do exclusives even exist? And why or do you get somewhat bothered when a game goes multi-platform? Okay, here's why exclusives exist. Because companies need a reason to convince people to buy your console. If every console could play everything, no one would have a reason to want to buy anything. So you need a way in order to convince people to buy your console. How do you do that? You do that with exclusive. You say, hey, if you buy our console, you can then play these games only. If everybody could play it, then that argument is false. I mean, trust me, people don't really care about features because these machines are so advanced they borderline can all do the same thing. It comes down to the games. It's always been about the games. I mean, think about this. Let's go back to the 16-bit era, when it was mainly between just, say, Nintendo and Sega. How would you know what to buy if you could play Sonic on Nintendo, or you could play Mario on Sega? What reason would you have to buy either one of them? That is why you have exclusives. And it kind of bothers me when games go multi-platform, specifically special ones, because I do not believe that people on the other console, not only do they not deserve these type of games, they have no respect for these type of games. There are certainly some games that are made perfectly for the PlayStation, and I think that though it is quite limiting, there are certainly some games that are made better for the Xbox. By choosing one console, I am saying, listen, I trust in this console so much, I'm willing to accept not playing another Mario game. I'm willing to accept not playing a Halo game because I have plenty of games to play on my PlayStation. That's how it's always been. I mean, it's been that way since I got my very first PlayStation. I'm willing to just stick with one console. I don't need to play as many games as possible. I'm just fine with sticking with one console because when you stick with just one console, you show loyalty. And that is something that I do not think anyone who chooses to buy all consoles believes in. Now, don't get me wrong, there's certainly some people that I know, good friends of mine, that have all 3 consoles, and their main reason is they just want to play as many games as possible. But I'm willing to make sacrifices to show my loyalty to one console. That's why it kind of bothers me. And by the time that you make these games multi-platforms, not many people on the other console are going to buy it anyway. I mean, that's just how I feel. I mean, until Xbox is willing to sacrifice one of their exclusives, since they really only have 2 exclusives, I just get kind of bothered to see prominent PlayStation franchises that are part of its legacy being added to other consoles. That's when I get kind of bothered, because I just don't think that people who have those consoles have any respect for these games. I mean, that's just how I've always felt. Next question comes from Brady Burick, and you want to know, which console out there, wait a second, which game console out of all others stands out the most? Probably the Switch, because as I've said maybe 100 times, I still don't know what the hell that thing is. I don't know if it's a portable, I don't know if it's a console, I don't know if it's weird hybrid, which I don't believe is possible, and now they just recently announced the Switch Lite, and pretty much that just looks like, this is just me, it looks basically like my PlayStation Vita, except with a bigger screen, and you just swapped the location of the joystick and buttons. I mean, that's all it looks like to me. I mean, maybe I think it added like some extra triggers in the back, but that's all it looks like to me. And yeah, I would say that's like the one console that stands out to me, but I'm not sure if I can even call it a console or a handheld. I don't know what the hell that thing is. And the last question of the episode comes from MFE Vick, and you want to know, if I was given a choice to rewrite The Phantom Pain with an entirely new plot, how would I have the story play out? Okay, well, that's easy. Okay, if Konami, the little pieces of shit that they are, company, came to me and asked me to rewrite Phantom Pain, what would I do with it? Okay, that's easy. Number one, there are a number of ideas that Phantom Pain had that I actually do think were pretty decent ideas. I didn't have a problem with the whole time jump about him being in a coma and then him waking up and it being all these years later. I had never a problem with that. In fact, I would have kept that. What I would have made the story focus on is the conflict between Big Boss and Zero. That is a major conflict, and pretty much I would have it pretty much revolve around Major Zero doing something and Big Boss saying, hey, I know we were allies once, but I don't think this is cool, and it goes into some sort of conflict. I don't think that Major Zero and Big Boss will ever actually meet, but let's just say their ideologies put them at odds. Now, I didn't have a problem with them introducing Liquid and having Liquid, meet Big Boss as a kid, but here's how I would have ended it perfectly. The last scene of Phantom Pain should have been this, and it's perfect. I can't think of a better ending. Basically, you have a scene where Big Boss is on Mother Base or Zanzibar or wherever the hell he is, and Master Miller says, "Hey, boss, before you go on another mission, I want you to meet somebody. I ran into this Green Beret. He's 16 years old, and he kind of, I think you should, maybe we should recruit him." And he walks up to this, this young soldier, and Big Boss asks him who he is. It says, well, kid, what's your name? And he says, my name is David. And then you immediately cut to black. And the reason you do that is because you need to show Big Boss meeting Solid Snake. At that point, Solid Snake went by the name David. That's his real name. His real name is David before he got the code name Solid Snake. So you pretty much have it show that Big Boss meets David. You cut to black because Big Boss is going to train David to become Solid Snake. And that game leads into the first Metal Gear. And therefore it comes full circle because what happens. There would be no need to make another game because what is going to happen. What the next part of the story is. With the way that they ended it, it's more confusing. And basically I really hate the ending of Phantom Pain because they basically took this tiny little scene and made a big deal out of it. And I just thought the whole game therefore was pointless because it's not even about Big Boss. You're playing as this medic who just got facial reconstruction. I thought that was a stupid idea because that just shows that, heck, anyone can be Big Boss. Big Boss isn't special. And it just bothered me. It pretty much did the very thing that I was afraid it was going to do. Metal Gear Solid 4 did an incredible job at answering all of the questions that the franchise had asked throughout the entire series. And all Phantom Pain did was create questions that we know will never be answered. Therefore, kind of ruining what was already a well put together storyline that spanned across 7 great games. And that's why I really don't like the Phantom Pain and refuse to acknowledge it as part of the series. And personally, that's how I would have rewritten it. And with that, those are the questions that you guys have sent to me. I want to thank the 3 of you that sent in your questions, as well as the rest of you that I answered your questions in the previous comment section. And like always, if you like this video and you would like to hear your questions in the next video, be sure to type your questions in the comments down below. But make sure you get them into me roughly around Wednesday, around say noon, before I start filming the next episode. And if you want to increase your chances of making sure that they actually make it into the video, just have them be a little bit more interesting with a little bit of depth. Otherwise, I'll just answer them in the comment section of this video. So with that out of the way, I would like to thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.